All right, so it has been, I think, almost a year since we did an update on putting solar on your house. And is solar energy a good idea for your home here in Hawaii? So today we're gonna deep dive into it. I mean, not even really deep dive, just a review of why it's still a really smart time to put solar on your home in 2024. And if this is your first time finding this video and you're like, who is this Marina lady? Well, I'm a real estate agent by trade. I'm located here on Oahu, and I help make videos for you that are really educational, just like this, where I tell you what's going on the island if you're not here yet, or what you need to know about the market coming up, or some really cool places to go eat and check out here on Oahu. So today's video, we're gonna go into solar a little bit, so let's dive in. All right, so let's talk numbers for a second, because there was an issue last year where we knew that the tax credit for solar panels was gonna be going away in 2024. I'm glad to announce that the 30% tax credit has stuck around, and it's actually gonna be available from 2024 up to 2032. So you have a whole nother decade basically to take advantage of this 30% tax credit. So based on the total amount of spend you're gonna put on your solar panels, 30% of that can be a tax deductible for the coming year moving forward. So that's really good to know and a great savings for our local residents. Fun fact, out of all the islands, Oahu has the most solar panels out of all of them, but we only have about 37% of homes that have solar on their roof, which is not even half yet. And the Hawaiian Electric State's goal is to have 100% renewable energy. We don't know when that's gonna happen, but that's the goal. So the more that they can incentivize us to do this, it's also a win-win for our homeowners and our state and renewable energy sources. And just recap, right? Why is solar a good idea? Well, we know that we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and electricity costs are really high. We also know, especially after the Maui fires, how susceptible we are to a disaster potentially and being cut off of the grid and not having any electric power should something happen. So when you have your own solar panels and your own battery, you have the ability to be grid free and you can rely on your own resources in case of an emergency, which I really love that for us. And again, it's just like putting something on your roof that's printing money instead of losing money. This is actually a recurring revenue source for you. It's not only paying off your electric bill completely, but it's able to store energy for you in the future. And it's gonna be a long-term investment in this home. Also, knowing that it's gonna be more desirable when it comes time to sell in the future. And I'm gonna say, we just had an experience where a home was appraised for $20,000 more than a comparable home simply because of its solar panels. So you might not get a dollar and dollar exchange rate for what you can list your home for versus how much money you put into the solar. But if you're comparing apples to apples, let's say in a neighborhood that's very cookie cutter, very the same, one has solar panels, one doesn't, yours does look more desirable against the competition. Even seeing this right now with rentals, especially if you're gonna list your home for rent and you don't have solar, but so-and-so down the street does, your tenant's more likely to wanna rent the one with solar panels to save on their electricity than the one without it and have to pay out of pocket. So I've heard stories of electricity bills being anywhere from $500 to $900 a month, which is just astronomical. So if there's a way that you can cut that down, especially adding solar and cutting it in half, it's 100% worth it. But I realize it's hard for people to really grasp this because immediately you're thinking, what is the cost up front, right? I've heard some scary numbers, up to $80,000 to put panels on a roof. I know as Hawaii residents, we don't have $80,000 lying around. So there must be some kind of win-win and a meet in the middle, and there is. And so the way that we do this is we set up a Zoom call with myself, with our solar consultant from Power, which is our partner that we've worked with, and we work with you, and we literally go through a lease option, a buy option, if we have any cash we wanted to put into it, and you can just see those number by number comparisons, how many panels you need, do you want batteries, and it's super customizable and interactive and visual. So you can see exactly what you're putting on your roof and how much it's gonna cost you. I will also say that the lease payments are really advantageous because they're much, much lower than purchasing the entire system. And when I think about technology lasting more than 20 years, I mean, we just go back 20 years to 2004, we have seen leaps and bounds in technology advancing. And so I don't know that buying a system outright could be the right call, knowing that technology is going to continue to improve. By the time you hit to 20 years, do you really want to keep those panels on? Or do you want to exchange them out and get a new lease? You know, that we can totally talk about that option. And again, what makes sense for you and your family and saving the most amount of money. That's really the big one. So going into what to do, right? So like, let's say you're like, Marina, okay, fine. Like I just got this house or I've been in it for a year or two. Let's consider solar. So a couple of things I'm gonna need from you. I want you to email me your roof age, that's number one, your roof type, Do you have tiles? Do you have asphalt shingles? What's it like? Is there any roof work needed? Have you noticed that you're missing shingles or you've had any leaks in the past? What's the condition? Number 4, how many amps is your main panel, which you can just open it and look at that. Number 5, do you have an HOA? If so, we need your HOA name and their contact phone number, simply because we're gonna need to get HOA approval to put panels on your roof. Number 6, if our design team identifies any areas of optimization for the solar module layout, would you be open to updating the design? Usually that's like a yes, of course we want to optimize. Number 7, if we determine that the street-facing roof surfaces could be utilized, would you be open to it? There are some homeowners who don't want to see the panels from the roof, but to me, I'm like, hey, if I'm getting more power that way, why not? Number 8, are you planning to pay for the system in cash or finance? Again, that's just to let us know how you want to finance this. Number 9, do you have at least 1 to 2 months of HECO bills? And the reason this is important is because we really want to see your actual usage with you and your family in the home. So a lot of the times I'll have buyers who buy home, they get the keys, and the next day they're getting solar quotes, but that's not going to be an optimal quote for you because you haven't been living in the house with your specific family for the last 2 to 3 months to get an accurate read on how much electricity you're going through. So a family of 4 is going to use a much different number of electric than a family of 2 or a single person, you know? So it's really important that we're being patient after you buy, get those 1 to 2 months of electric statements, and then we'll kind of look at this. Especially those new construction, same thing. The house has been vacant, you know, really they've just had the cost of construction. They haven't had a family living in it, running laundry all the time and all that stuff. Those are the 9 questions I need from you. Then I also want you to take a picture of the main panel inside your house, both the label and the switches. So just open up that panel, take a quick picture, send it to me. I also need the main breaker outside next to your meter. So usually that's on the outside of your house or by your garage, and then the meter outside. So just making sure we have those 3, and I'll throw up some images of examples so you can see exactly what that looks like when you're looking at your house too. What you're gonna do is send me all that information in an email to marina.tolentino@exprealty.com, and then we're gonna set up that Zoom call between myself, the power consultant, and you. And this is completely educational. Just like when I help you buy or sell and we're having that pre-approval conversation, this is the same game. We're just looking at your income, making sure this payment makes sense for you and your family. It's not a sales presentation whatsoever. It's an educational consult. So I really just want to empower everyone who's considering solar to take a good look at it and decide, is this the year we go solar, and what impact could it make on me and my family? I hope you guys learned something new on this video, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.